Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Masters of the Universe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe Masterverse Masters of the Universe New Eternia Moss Man. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And first up, you have to say, there's Moss Man being very mossy in their Masters of the Universe New Eternia. There at the bottom. And let's just take a closer look at the artwork, because you can see some insects and flowers and critters and stuff. Ew, snakes. So there's Moss Man in there, all glowy eyes and stuff. So then on this side, we've got wraparound art. It says Mattel Creations here at the top. And again, you know, insects and flowers and whatnot. And over here on this side again, it wraps around. And again, critters, Mattel Creations. And all that good stuff. On the bottom, it says Masterverse upside down. And on the top, it says Masterverse upside down. So, it's Masterverse right on this side. And then it's upside down on the bottom. So finally, let's move around to the back of the packaging. Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe New Eternia. Original designs inspired by classic concepts. And then there's some more just lovely artwork of Moss Man surrounded by woodland stuff. Uh-oh! Looks like some Rotons coming in for an attack, though. That's not fun. Mattel, empowering generations through play. And there it is again in another language. Question mark! Assortment number, maybe? I don't know. Maybe. So, then you open it up, and like all these Mattel Creations, that I often forget to do this for. Moss Man, heroic spy and master of camouflage. And there, if you want to read all of that good stuff, you can pause it right here and read the Moss Man story. Moving right along. Then you open the box up. We've got some black and white artwork here. Then we've got some more woodland scene stuff here, and this is an insert that pulls out, and it's also a backdrop for the character. You can see it looks like Eternia there in the background, and then some critters flying and a tree that is alive, an int maybe, the Masters of the Universe style one. But very nice looking. And again, you know, this as well could be used as a backdrop. And then on the inside, you just see the figures tied in there, and the accessories are down here in this box. So there you have it, my friends. If I can get it closed back up. There you have it, my friends. Oh, look at the packaging. Outside and inside. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And first up, we have his little dagger. And it looks to be like a greenish gold. At least that's how it looks to me. I'm colorblind. Don't make fun of handicapped people. So then that kind of looks green to me as well, but this looks like a goldish green plastic or shiny green of some kind. Again, that's how it looks to me. I could be wrong, and if I am, again, it's a handicap, and you can see the hilt of the dagger it's got facets on it, it looks like. So it's not a smooth circle. It does have some flat planes on there, so that's cool. And then we've got a nice little wrap detail molded on there. So pretty cool, neat looking little accessory. And then here is his mace, a bit different than the originals, but that's okay too. It looks mostly like it was grown, at least this part. And then we've got some, looks like brown to me here, and then again back with that greenish gold, although this is a little bit shinier, it looks like. And then up here it looks like there's a wash on it as well, which helps all those little details stand out and makes it look cool. And then finally we have his tree or vine hand. It's got a, well, it could be an up and down, well, yeah, I guess you turn it this way, it's an up and down. You turn it this way, it's an in and out. So whichever way you want it to do. So it does have a lot of nice molded details in it, and it looks like it has a bit of a wash too. So pretty neat. Not quite as massive as Revelation Mossman's vine hand, but this guy more than makes up for it because he is huge compared to that Revelation Mossman. Now there is one other accessory, and I kind of already just put it on him, and he does have like a little vine belt that has the sheath for his dagger on it, and you can see it's got some nice molded details in there, vines and stuff. And the belt, it looks very viney, and it's got tendrils coming off of it. So very cool. And there's where it clips on. Now he does have a lot of overlays, and as far as I can tell, the majority of this is the deluxe new Eternia Beastman. So we've got this overlay on the head, of course, is different. So we've got this big overlay. It's got these giant thorns, I guess, or wooden pieces poking out, and it does look like it's a bit of a wash on there. Not so much on this part, but like these parts. This looks like paint. This has wash, this has wash, this has wash. And it even looks like there's some wash going on, at least on the back of it. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's in there. And you can see all the fur or grass details sculpted in from that Beastman body. We've got this piece on, which is just, you know, an overlay that is, you know, slides over his arm. And there might even be a little bit of wash on this. And then we've got this vine piece over here with this thorn piece on it, or spike, whatever you want to call it. So, oh, I'm seeing more. So there is a wash on this piece all the way around it. I'm seeing it now. So no wash on this though. Then we've got this vine piece that takes the place of a bracer. And then we have this bracer here, which kind of matches up to his mace. And color wise and wash wise, and a little bit of the design just reminds me of that. And then on this side of it, it's got a wrap. And then this overlay, it's all bushy down here, and that, yeah, I know how that sounds. So it also has a wash that matches the wash up here. Lots of nice leafy details going on there. And while I'm talking about leafy details, some of the new parts, or at least retooled parts, are the hands and the feet, and we'll get to the feet in a minute. But as you can see, it's leafy details molded onto the back of the hand instead of fur details, and that's on both sides. So these are new to this Moss Man. The legs also have a nice bit of wash to them. Look at all that. It's kind of a heavy wash going on there, and they even on the back side as well. And it carries on, it looks like, under these overlays, which might have a little bit, it looks like they have a little bit of wash on these too. A lighter wash that kind of matches up with these, this wash and this wash up here. So that's really, really cool. And then here, with looking at the feet, again, you can see instead of fur details, he has leafy details. And I think there's a bit of a wash on there too. And so the feet are, I don't think the feet are retooled. I think the feet are all new. The hands are probably all new too. They just kind of look similar to what Beastman had. So, and then he's got some details on the bottoms of his feet too. So, very neat. And I didn't talk about the head sculpt very much, but there's some wash on this that matches up with these overlays. You can kind of see the lighter bits in there. He kind of has, I don't know, like a confused look on his face. Why are they littering in my forest, He-Man? I don't know. But looks like a lighter green for the eyes and maybe a darker green for the face. And just overall, I have to say, this looks really good. And it kind of reminds me of the 2001 Moss Man from the animation, at least if I'm remembering it correctly. But this is a massive Beastman. This is a Beastman. Yeah, it used to be Beastman. This is a massive Moss Man. And I don't think we've gotten a Mossy this large before. So let's talk about his articulation a bit. He's on a dumbbell at the top of the neck, a ball in the neck, and a ball at the top of the head. And the head, I will tell you, it comes off very easily when you're posing it. All this like beard and this overlay, they just really get in the way of each other. So he doesn't really look up, he doesn't really look down. He's got a little bit of chicken neck. He's got some enough waggle that the head comes off, and there you can see how that's put together. So there's that, and he can look left and right a little bit. The full Exorcist is gonna make his head pop off again, and it pops off quite easily. At the shoulder, no, I thought there was a butterfly in there, but there's not. So the arm, if you swing it out a little bit, it will get a full 360 degree rotation. This gets in the way, this gets in the way. So be aware of that. The head popped off again. I wasn't even moving the head. So I can get that much bend out of the shoulder joint. It may go a little more than that, but it doesn't seem to want to. So not quite 90 degrees. At the upper bicep there is a cut, and it's hard to get it to rotate with this spike on. So, but it does rotate 360 degrees. Double hinged pinless elbow, and it gives you that much bend, so that's pretty good. At the wrist, 360 degrees of rotation, in and out hinge, and then in and out hinge on the grip hand on this side as well. There is a cut where the chest and the torso meet. It gives him all kinds of hula going on there. He doesn't rotate all the way around at that point, and it's on a dumbbell as well. And so he gets, you know, slight rotation left and right there, and then he can bend left and right. His head can fall off again. He can lean back that far and crunch forward that far. At the waist, now that his belt comes loose, we can look at his belt that's part of him. So nice molded detail in there, along with some paint apps, and the colors of it. It's got a wash in there too, and it all matches this and this and this. So very cool and very cool. I like that. So then now back to the articulation. Straight cut at the waist, and at that point you do get a 360 degree rotation. At the hips, is it pull down? Yeah. So he's got pull down hinges at the hips, and that allow him full range to give you the full splits. And he kicks forward. Part of his leg is at 90 degrees and then part of it isn't. So you be the judge. But that's how much it goes. Back, not very much, about 1/2 the length of his own foot. Cut at the upper thigh, 360 degrees of rotation there. Double hinged, pinless knee gives you that much bend, so really good. And there's a boot cut, even though he's not wearing a boot, at the upper shin, gives you 360 degrees of rotation there. And then at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and has a pin for rocker. So let's see if we can get this belt back in place over his other belt. And as far as this piece goes, I popped it in this one to get the pick for the title card, and I had some difficulty getting it out. So you want to grip it right in here, and you want to twist it as you're pulling it out. You may even want to heat it up a little bit. That's what I ended up doing, so that I would not break that hinge. So I'm not going to put this in, but it can go either side that you want it to go. And there is no storage for that. His little dagger piece will go in the sheath there, and it's on a little pin here, and it does move, so that is a thing. And then as far as his mace or club or whatever you want to call it goes, he just holds that in his hand. And there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Eternia Mossman, with the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Eternia Deluxe Beastman, and the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe Revelation Mossman. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Eternia Mossman, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for our final Masterverse comparison, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Eternia Mossman, I have to say I'm really digging this figure. And not just because he's a plant. You know, digging plant. Never mind. So, this guy looks great from the sculpted detail on the new parts, just the new parts, and the washes and stuff throughout the figure. Now again, like I mentioned before, the majority of the body is reused from that new Eternia Deluxe Beastman, and it's appropriate because that's, you know, the very first Moss Man was just a green flocked Beast Man. And it worked. It was meaningful reuse of a mold. And that's what they've done here, along with some new parts. The head is a new mold. The hands and feet are also new, or at least retooled, but I think they're new. And he's even got a tree hand or vine hand accessory, and none of it is the same as the Revelation Moss Man. Although I'll have to check and see if maybe some of those pieces could be used with this guy as well. I'm just thinking about that now. But those are the new body parts that were new. All of the overlays are new stuff. And again, they all look fantastic. Now I will say the look on his face is kind of confused, and I don't really get that. Maybe it's more annoyed than confused. Might be it, you know. Smokey the Bear crapping in the woods or whatever, and he gets a little annoyed over it. But these overlays look fantastic, and from the molding to the washes on them to just help all those leafy details stand out. It's a really, really good figure, and I do think it's up to the Mattel Creations standards, because you know that you get a little bit more stuff with that because it's a higher price point. And I think in this case it's justified. Everybody might not agree with that, but you know, that's my opinion, and your mileage, of course, may vary, and that's okay. I like the design of his mace, along with the wash that's on it and the colors, how it matches up to his belt and his gauntlet on his arm, and it looks great, and I like it. So if you're a new Eternia if you're a new Eternia collector, or just a Masterverse collector, or you know, you just pick up pieces here and there. So if you just pick up pieces here and there of quote unquote main characters, then this one might be a pass for you. But if you picked up that Revelation Moss Man and were disappointed, then this guy is not a disappointment at all. I think he's the bulkiest Moss Man they've ever done, and I like that fact. You know, I like that they did that, made him bulkier, because he's a forest man, Bigfoot looking this guy is. Anyway. So the only issue that I had with this figure is that the head comes off way too easy. And I understand why it does. It has to do with the way it's molded and the overlays, and just they didn't change the design of that neck peg to accommodate the extra volume to be able to turn the head, I guess. So that would be my only real issue with this figure, and the fact that, you know, it is a Mattel Creations. It is a higher price point. Of course, at the price point it was, this would have been a deluxe release figure, and it would have been that price point anyway. At least that's the way I see it. I could be wrong, but I do wish this guy was more readily available. You didn't have to order him from Mattel Creations. You know, if I could have got this guy off a Big Bad Toy Store, he could have went in my pile of loot and been shipped for $4. The shipping on it is a bit more from Mattel Creations, so there's that too. You know, consider in your budget. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.